The Eclipse glided silently through the dark void of the Coran expanse, its hull reflecting distant starlight like a shard of silver in the endless black. Inside the bridge, Captain Lena Voss stood rigid, her eyes fixed on the holoscreen before her. The alarms had been screaming for minutes, urgent and unrelenting, but Lena barely noticed the sound. All her attention was on the massive object approaching Zephyria Prime at impossible speed. It was enormous, far bigger than any human ship or station, and its shape was unlike anything in the star charts. The sensors struggled to classify it. No energy signature matched a spacecraft or a natural phenomenon. Lieutenant Cade, Lena's second-in-command, had been poring over the data, his fingers dancing across the console as if he could make sense of chaos by sheer will. "Captain, it's alive," he said finally, voice tense. "This is a creature, not a ship, and it's hunting us." Lena's stomach tightened. She had faced danger before, but nothing like this. Humanity had encountered hostile aliens before, sometimes cunning, sometimes brutal, but this was on another level entirely. The readings showed thick, armor-like plating that shimmered in shifting colors, energy bursts radiating from its body capable of obliterating any human vessel in moments, and movement patterns so precise it seemed to anticipate attacks before they happened. Lena swallowed hard, forcing her mind to focus. "Then we don't run," she said firmly, her voice steady despite the fear that clawed at her chest. "We fight. Prep the ship for full combat readiness. Send all available warnings to Zephyria Prime. Every civilian ship, every fighter, every station, alert them. We survive this or we die trying." The crew snapped into action. Alarms echoed throughout the ship. Engines hummed to life and weapon systems powered up with a fierce glow. The air was thick with tension. Every crew member acutely aware that their actions in the next minutes could mean the difference between life and death. Outside the viewport, the alien creature advanced, its massive form cutting through the darkness like a predator moving toward prey. The stars around it seemed to flicker under the strain of its energy, and Lena could almost feel the weight of its intelligence, as if it were sizing up her ship, calculating weaknesses. She gritted her teeth, refusing to let dread overwhelm her. Humanity had survived countless threats before, relying on ingenuity, courage, and the stubbornness that came from being a small species in a big universe. This was just another challenge, one of the greatest they had ever faced, but Lena knew the crew would rise to it. "All decks report," she barked, keeping her eyes on the rapidly approaching menace. Shields were online, weapons calibrated, and the engines thrumming in anticipation. Each crew member was focused, tense, yet determined. They were humans, and humans did not give up. They adapted, they fought, and they survived. Lena allowed herself a small, tight nod, a private promise to the universe that they would face this terror head-on. The creature loomed closer with every passing second, and a pulse of energy swept across the void, a reminder of the raw, unstoppable power they were up against. But Lena's resolve did not waver. She would not flee, not now. Humanity might be small, but it was clever, resilient, and unbreakable in spirit. The first contact with this alien predator would determine the fate of Zephyria Prime, and perhaps the future of human space. As the distance between them closed, the tension in the bridge became almost unbearable, hearts racing, minds alert, yet beneath it all ran a quiet, burning certainty. They would not bow. They would stand. And whatever this creature was, it would soon learn the truth about the species that had just declared war on it. Zephyria Prime, once a quiet jewel in human space, now trembled under the threat hurtling toward it. From orbit, the sprawling cities gleamed beneath massive protective domes, reflecting the pale light of Zephiria's sun. But even the strongest shield seemed fragile against the raw power of the alien predator. Panic swept through the colony like wildfire, as alarms blared from every station and communication channels buzzed with frantic voices. Families rushed to evacuation points, vehicles raced across domed streets, and the military scrambled every available ship to intercept the approaching threat. Among them, Captain Lena Voss and the Eclipse led a small but determined human fleet, their engines glowing with urgency as they maneuvered into formation around the colony. The alien creature moved with terrifying intelligence, dodging missiles and energy beams with ease, each attack from the humans barely leaving a mark. Its massive limbs and shifting armored plates radiated power, while bursts of energy shot from its body, tearing through the void of space and leaving trails of destruction in its wake. Human pilots fought valiantly, weaving through its attacks and striking where they could. But with each passing moment the odds seemed insurmountable. Lena's voice carried through the comms, sharp and commanding, rallying her crew and the scattered fleet. "Stay focused. We may be small, but we are fast, clever, and coordinated. Every strike counts. Watch its patterns, look for weak points. Lieutenant Cade, working furiously at the tactical console, tracked the creature's movement, noting how it seemed to anticipate every maneuver. "Captain," he said, "it's not just powerful, it's learning. Every time we attack, it adapts. We can't keep hitting blindly. We need strategy, bait, and precision." Lena nodded, her mind racing through plans and contingencies. Every human ship became part of a carefully orchestrated dance. Drones baiting the creature while fighters flanked it from multiple angles. Missiles timed to strike in coordinated bursts. Despite their best efforts, the aliens' resilience and intelligence frustrated them at every turn. On the colony below, Dr. Mara Chen and other scientists monitored the situation from the command center. Her hands flew across consoles as she analyzed the creature's biology through long-range scans. "It's adaptive," she warned. "It can adjust to energy types and impact frequencies. Hit it wrong, and it will evolve mid-battle. We need targeted strikes, not brute force." Civilians watched in awe and terror as streaks of light and explosions lit the sky above their homes. The aliens' attacks shaking domes and sending tremors through the streets. Many braved the chaos to aid in evacuation and defense, refusing to abandon their home despite the overwhelming danger. Lena, in the thick of the fight, saw both the vulnerability and the strength of humanity. Ships were being torn apart, crews risking everything. Yet no one hesitated. Every human moved with purpose, every maneuver calculated and bold. Even in the face of a creature that seemed unstoppable, courage burned brighter than fear. As the battle raged, debris and fire streaked across space, casting eerie shadows across the colony. The alien released a massive energy pulse that nearly crippled the fleet, and Lena's hands flew over the controls, pushing the Eclipse and its crew to their limits to dodge the attack. She felt the weight of responsibility pressing down. Every life under her command mattered. Every decision could be the difference between survival and annihilation. And yet, amidst the chaos, a spark of determination shone through. Humanity might be smaller, weaker, and less experienced than the predator they faced, but they had ingenuity, strategy, and an unyielding will to survive. Each strike, each evasive maneuver, and each daring decision carved a small victory against the monstrous force. Lena gritted her teeth, eyes fixed on the creature's shimmering form. Humanity was facing its greatest challenge, but they were not defeated. They had learned, adapted, and fought back with everything they had, proving that even the most terrifying predator could not break the spirit of a determined species. And as the battle raged on, one truth became clear. Humanity would not go quietly. They would fight, they would endure, and they would make the deadliest creature in the galaxy understand that picking a fight with humans was a mistake it would never forget. The battle above Zephyria Prime had pushed humanity to its limits, but Captain Lena Voss and her crew refused to yield. In the control room of the Eclipse, Lieutenant Cade's fingers flew across the holographic panels, analyzing the alien creature's movements and energy patterns. He had noticed something others had missed, a rhythm in the bursts of energy radiating from its core, tiny delays that hinted at a weakness hidden beneath its adaptive armor. "Captain," he said urgently, "I think I've found something. Its core is overloaded when it channels energy for attacks. If we hit it at the right moment, we might be able to cause a critical failure." Lena leaned closer, eyes narrowing at the readouts. "How risky is it?" she asked, already knowing the answer. "High," Cade admitted, his voice tense. "We'd have to get close, precise, and coordinated. Any mistake could destroy the entire fleet, or worse, the colony below." Lena's jaw tightened, but she did not hesitate. "Then we do it. Humanity survives by taking risks, and we are not backing down now. Prepare the crew. We make our move." Meanwhile, Dr. Mara Chen worked tirelessly from the Zephyria Command Center, scanning the creature's biology to find vulnerabilities. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke over the comms. "The core is highly reactive. If overloaded, it could cause massive internal damage, but its adaptive systems are sophisticated. Timing and accuracy are everything. One wrong strike, and it will learn and adjust instantly." Lena nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle like a stone on her shoulders. Every fighter, every drone, every weapon in the fleet would need to work in perfect harmony for the plan to succeed. The civilians below watched in tense silence as the human fleet reorganized, fighters weaving in and out of the creature's attacks, drones buzzing around to distract it, and capital ships holding position to provide cover. Every human on Zephyria Prime felt the urgency. Even those who were not directly fighting understood that the survival of their world depended on the courage and cleverness of their defenders. Lena gave the order to engage. The Eclipse led the fleet in a daring maneuver, moving directly toward the alien while evading searing blasts of energy. Fighters darted around like sparks in a storm, drawing the creature's attention and testing its reactions. Cade worked furiously to time the energy overload precisely, coordinating the fleet's attack through a complex series of signals and calculated movements. As the alien turned its massive body, its armor glinting with lethal energy, Lena felt the familiar rush of adrenaline and fear. They were small, fragile, and outmatched, yet their strategy gave them a fighting chance. The crew of the Eclipse pressed on, trusting their training, their intelligence, and their determination. Civilians and volunteers aided in any way they could, guiding ships, monitoring data, and keeping morale steady in the chaos. Humanity's strength was not in raw power, but in creativity, cooperation, and unyielding spirit. The alien roared, shaking the void with a sound that seemed almost alive, reacting faster than ever to their attacks. But Lena and Cade had anticipated its moves, exploiting tiny delays in its energy pulses. Fighter squadrons maneuvered to distract the creature while drones positioned themselves around its core, ready to deliver the critical strike. Dr. Chen monitored every signal, shouting corrections and adjustments, her calm voice a lifeline amid the chaos. Lena gritted her teeth, aware that the margin for error was razor-thin. Every second counted, every action had to be flawless. Humanity's survival hinged on their ability to act as one, to think faster and adapt more cleverly than a creature designed to kill. And as the moment approached to strike at the core, Lena felt a surge of pride and determination. They were humans, small, fragile, and often underestimated, but capable of brilliance, courage, and sacrifice. Against the deadliest creature in the galaxy, they were ready to prove that ingenuity and resolve could triumph over brute power, that humanity would not simply survive, but fight with every ounce of heart and mind they possessed. The orbit above Zephyria Prime erupted into chaos as the human fleet clashed with the alien predator, turning the vast blackness of space into a storm of fire, light, and destruction. Explosions blossomed like deadly flowers, sending shards of metal and debris spinning into the void, while beams of plasma seared through the darkness in desperate attempts to pierce the creature's impenetrable armor. Captain Lena Voss gripped the controls of the Eclipse, her knuckles white, eyes darting across readouts as the ship twisted and rolled to evade searing energy bursts. Around her, the fleet fought with every ounce of skill and courage they possessed, weaving intricate patterns of attack and evasion, each maneuver calculated to exploit the tiniest opening in the alien's defenses. The creature moved with terrifying precision, its massive limbs sweeping through space like scythes, crushing smaller ships instantly, while radiant energy pulses radiated from its core, slicing through shields and armor alike. The Eclipse's shield shuddered under the constant bombardment, forcing Lena to make split-second decisions to protect her crew and capitalize on fleeting chances to strike. "Divert all power to forward weapons. Focus fire on the left flank," she shouted, voice cutting through the hum of alarms and the roar of energy discharges. Lieutenant Cade's fingers flew across the tactical console, calculating trajectories, timing pulses, and coordinating drone squads that darted around the creature to distract it. Even amid the destruction humanity's ingenuity shone, small ships worked in perfect synchrony, luring the alien into traps while others delivered precise strikes at weak points Cade had identified. The creature, sensing the coordinated assault, adapted quickly, its armor shifting, energy fields rippling to counter attacks, and intelligence evident in every motion. Yet the humans persisted, refusing to yield even as casualties mounted and explosions rocked the fleet. The sky over Zephyria Prime glowed with the reflection of battle, domed cities trembling under the stress of orbital detonations. On the planet, civilians watched in awe and fear, gripping one another, hearts pounding as the fate of their home hung in the balance. Fighters darted through the aliens' attacks, drawing fire and exposing vulnerabilities, while heavier capital ships delivered synchronized volleys, each shot aimed at destabilizing the core. Lena's voice cut through the tension again, sharp and commanding. "Hold steady. Watch its patterns. We've got one shot at this, make it count." The alien unleashed a massive pulse of energy, nearly overwhelming several ships, sending them tumbling and leaving glowing trails of wreckage in its wake. The Eclipse jolted violently as shields flared, forcing Lena to push the engines to their limits, weaving in and out of deadly beams while Cade shouted adjustments over the comms. The pressure was immense, every moment a fight for survival. But the crew remained focused, adapting and responding faster than the alien could predict. Humanity's strength was not in raw power but in coordination, strategy, and courage, the very qualities that allowed a smaller species to challenge the galaxy's deadliest predator. As the battle raged on, explosions illuminated the alien's massive body, revealing glimpses of its vulnerable core beneath shifting armor. Lena's heart raced. This was the moment they had prepared for, the chance to exploit the pattern Cade had discovered. The fleet converged, drones buzzing in precise formations, fighters flanking the creature, and heavy ships ready to fire a combined salvo. In the midst of chaos, every human on board understood the stakes. Failure meant destruction, but success meant proving that humanity, clever and resilient, could stand against an enemy thought unbeatable. And as the alien turned toward the fleet, roaring in fury, Lena felt a surge of determination. They were outmatched in strength but never in spirit, and they would show the universe that humans did not surrender, even when facing the deadliest creature alive. The moment of truth had arrived above Zephyria Prime, and the tension in space was almost unbearable. As Captain Lena Voss guided the Eclipse toward the alien creature with calculated precision, every nerve in her body focused on the task at hand. The human fleet had endured countless attacks, lost brave crews, and seen ships disintegrated in searing bursts of energy. Yet they pressed on, knowing that this final maneuver could decide the fate of their colony, and perhaps all of humanity in this sector. Lieutenant Cade's hands moved with lightning speed across the tactical console, coordinating drones and fighter squadrons to form a perfect pincer around the alien, while simultaneously monitoring its energy pulses to pinpoint the exact moment for their critical strike. The creature sensed their approach, its massive body twisting with terrifying agility, claws swiping through space and energy discharges erupting from its core in brilliant, deadly arcs. Every human vessel that drew near risked instant destruction, yet they advanced, each ship moving in perfect unison as if guided by a single mind. Dr. Mara Chen's voice crackled over the comms, calm but urgent, relaying vital information about the alien's core and its adaptive systems. "Strike now," she instructed. "Time it with the energy pulse. If we miss it, we'll adjust and we lose our chance." Lena's grip on the controls tightened, her jaw set in determination. Her crew understood the danger. Every second, every maneuver could be their last. But they did not hesitate. The Eclipse darted close, weaving through energy bursts and dodging lethal beams, while drones flitted around the alien like a swarm of metallic lightning, drawing its attention and creating openings for the human fighters. Cade's eyes tracked the core, noting the precise moment when the alien focused its energy on a massive attack. "Now!" he shouted. Lena unleashed the specially designed kinetic torpedo, a vessel of concentrated force and precise timing aimed directly at the alien's energy core. For a heartbeat, time seemed to freeze. The torpedo arced through space, trailing brilliant light while the alien sensed the imminent strike and twisted in fury, releasing a deafening roar that shook the void. Explosions erupted as the torpedo hit, the core erupting in a blinding flash that rippled through the alien's body. Energy discharged chaotically, sending waves of destruction across space, shaking nearby ships, and lighting the void with bursts of color and fire. The creature writhed violently, its massive form convulsing as internal systems failed, armor plates shattering, and energy beams sputtering out of control. The Eclipse shuddered under the force of the blast, but Lena held steady, guiding the ship through the storm, while Cade and the crew ensured every secondary strike hit precisely where it was needed. One by one, the alien's attacks faltered, its intelligence overwhelmed by the precision and courage of the humans who dared to challenge it. As silence began to descend, broken only by the distant hum of remaining ships and the glow of debris, the enormity of what they had accomplished settled over the fleet. The alien lay defeated, its massive body inert, energy systems offline, a testament to the humans' ingenuity, strategy, and unyielding spirit. Lena exhaled, allowing herself a brief moment of relief, though the weight of the battle and the sacrifices made pressed heavily on her heart. Ships had been lost, brave crews had fallen, yet humanity had prevailed, proving that even against the deadliest predator in the galaxy, their courage, coordination, and cleverness could triumph. The fleet regrouped, sending signals to confirm that the alien was neutralized and that Zephyria Prime was safe, for now. Civilians watched from below, relief and awe mingling in their expressions, knowing that their survival had come at a great cost, but also through the extraordinary determination of those who had dared to face what seemed impossible. Lena's eyes scanned the wreckage, the battlefield of stars and debris, and she realized that this victory was more than a triumph over a creature. It was a testament to humanity's resilience, its creativity, and its refusal to bow even when confronted with seemingly unstoppable power. and in that quiet moment after the storm, she understood something profound. Humans had faced the deadliest creature alive and had won, not through brute strength but through courage, intelligence, and the unbreakable human spirit that refused to surrender, no matter the odds. The battlefield above Zephyria Prime had grown quiet, the alien predator finally defeated, but the air was still thick with the tension of survival and the weight of sacrifice. Captain Lena Voss guided the Eclipse carefully through floating debris, scanning the area for any remaining threats, while her crew worked to repair shields and check on the wounded. Around them, the human fleet regrouped, battered but intact, the pilots exchanging weary nods of relief and determination. Below, Zephyria Prime began to stir with cautious hope. The protective domes had survived the aliens' attacks, though scars marred the cityscapes, and emergency teams moved quickly to restore power, secure habitats, and tend to civilians shaken by the chaos. Families emerged from shelters, tears and laughter mingling as they embraced loved ones, their gratitude palpable for the brave humans who had risked everything to defend their home. Lena watched from orbit, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and pride. The victory had come at a high cost, yet it was proof that humans, small and often underestimated, could rise to meet impossible odds. Lieutenant Cade approached her, his face streaked with grime but eyes bright with a sense of accomplishment. "We did it," he said quietly, almost in awe. "We actually did it," Lena nodded, though her gaze remained on the distant remains of the alien, now drifting in inert silence, a reminder of the danger they had faced and the strength they had summoned to overcome it. Dr. Mara Chen, returning to her lab after helping coordinate the battle, spoke over comms with both relief and urgency. "We need to study what happened, learn everything we can from its biology, its energy systems, its adaptive intelligence. Humanity faced one of the deadliest predators in the galaxy and survived. That knowledge could save countless lives in the future." Lena allowed herself a small, tired smile. Humanity's victory was not just about defeating a single enemy. It was about proving that ingenuity, courage, and cooperation could turn the tide even when the odds seemed insurmountable. The fleet moved in formation, escorting civilian ships back to the planet's surface and clearing debris to make way for recovery operations. As people returned to Zephyria Prime, there was a renewed sense of purpose and unity. Humans who had once been strangers worked side by side to rebuild homes, repair infrastructure, and restore hope. Messages of praise and recognition streamed in from nearby colonies, acknowledging the bravery of those who had faced the alien and survived. Lena took a moment to reflect on the broader picture. Humanity had been challenged by a creature designed to be unstoppable, yet their determination, creativity, and refusal to surrender had carried them through. They had fought not just with weapons but with intelligence, strategy, and heart. In the quiet moments, Lena allowed herself to feel the weight of what had been accomplished, the lives saved and the lives lost, knowing that every sacrifice had mattered. Across Zephyria Prime, celebrations were tempered with remembrance, honoring those who had given everything and acknowledging that the future would demand vigilance and courage. And yet beneath it all, a sense of pride resonated through every survivor. Humanity had faced the deadliest creature alive, and they had prevailed. They had shown that size, strength, or brute power were not the only measures of survival. Ingenuity, adaptability, and courage, the very qualities that defined humans, had made victory possible. As night fell over the recovering colony, Lena stood at the observation deck, looking out at the stars that stretched endlessly across the sky. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but humanity had proven its worth. They had survived, they had adapted, and they had triumphed against impossible odds. A wry smile crossed her face as she muttered under her breath, "Congratulations? No. Humanity just reminded the universe not to underestimate us." The wind of Zephyria Prime carried the quiet echoes of hope and resilience, a lasting testament to the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to surrender. A reminder that even against the deadliest foes, humans would fight, endure, and rise stronger than ever before.